Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy Michael Agbajan, and thank you for joining me on the SAYMICHAEL podcast. Ready? Let's go. Thank you for joining me on episode number 2. Also want to give a big, huge, warm hug and thank you to everyone who joined me on the first episode, the very first episode, my day ones. Thank you. I got an overwhelming amount of support. I loved it. Thank you. I'm just so glad you joined me. I'm just so glad that you joined me because I'm really appreciative of all the love and all the feedback that I received. And it gives me the fuel to keep going, because I want to do this forever and ever and ever and never stop. And to know that it connected with people, here and afar. I got like people around me were signing up for YouTube accounts to watch. They're listen to podcasts and sign up to Spotify to listen. And I really appreciate it, And if I sound a little bit weird today, I was at the dentist. Went to the dentist, and if there's anything that you get out of this podcast today, is that you need to floss. And when I say floss, I'm talking about daily. Make it a habit. See, I floss, but not daily. And I got 3 fillings today, and I'm going back in 2 weeks for even more work. So make sure you floss, and that just to stay out that dentist chair, So if you don't get anything, make sure you floss. Also, I'm really excited about today because I'm going to share with you a love story, a very good love story between me and the Waterboys. And if you don't know about the Waterboys is the best mobile car washing and detailing company in Dallas, let alone I think it might be the best one in the world, maybe. Because we want to use the finest microfiber towels and the best soaps. But yeah, it's the best. And I'm going to give you the genesis of the Waterboys. And I just want you to kind of get an overview of like the first business I started and how it came about, and like the struggles I had, the humbling beginnings and the transitions and the changes, because all this is important. It's important to understand that, to keep going no matter what, and that, how to be resilient and how to just, find new ways to grow, but, the story starts in the summer of 2007. That's when this started. That spring of 2007, actually, I was graduating from Lamar University with a political science degree, which means nothing in the real world. So I was graduating from Lamar University with a political science degree. And that summer, I come home to Dallas, Grand Prairie, to stay with my parents because right now I'm waiting to get to law school. That's my next move is going to go to law school that fall. And so at Lamar, just like even before, I would hustle to make a little extra bread here and there. At Lamar, I sold, CDs, DVDs, also cut hair. There's probably a few clients from way back then listening right now. I'm sorry if I hurt you. My deepest condolences. Sorry if I cut you. But yeah, that summer I'm getting back home and I'm just a little bit bored. I'm just thinking, what could I do? What could I sell? And I thought maybe I should wash some cars just, on the side. And, I created a flyer, I did graphic design. I created this flyer, and on this flyer was the hot summer special. The hot summer special was a full interior and exterior cleaning, wheels, tires, body, and windows, cup holders, dash, and trim, wipe down leather on the seat, spray wax on the outside. Does it get better than that? Huh? Huh? Come on. Fire. And as a little nugget, that hot summer special is what's called the signature special on our menu now. So, and back then, the hot summer special in that summer of 2007, that was $45. And right now our signature special is $75. So over the 12 years, you could see kind of, how the price changed on that. But yeah, and then even before I had that, I did even come with a name, but the way I came with the Waterboys is that, okay, my life-changing year was the 7th grade. In the 7th grade, my favorite movie came out at that time. It's called Waterboy with Adam Sandler. That movie was amazing, and that name always stuck with me. And I kind of thought, maybe I should, transition that into the business in a certain way, because it's kind of like how other businesses do. Like they have little naming tricks, like good examples like Chase. So if you name your business Chase, which is a verb, and you make it a noun, it becomes a unique term. So when you search it on Google or something like that, it doesn't come up as someone chasing somebody. It comes up as a company. Just same thing with Sprint. Sprint is a verb, action word, and they took that, made it a noun, and that little change made that like its own unique like search term and their own term. So that's what I did. I said, man, I love the name. It was always sticky to me. Like I never forgot it. And in 7th grade, that's why I always give praise to my mom, because my mom was like, she gave me my business awakening. If you heard in episode 1, I kind of lightly touched on it, that in 7th grade, when I did save up my first $250, I was gonna go out and buy some shoes, but she thought, and even suggested to me, that maybe I should use that money for a Coke machine. And I did use that for a Coke machine, and that's really when my mind started changing. I couldn't think the same anymore, because like money was different then, like that. So 7th grade was a pivotal time. That's why I always, find time to give praise to my mom always, because she really just changed my life at that moment, But yeah, so that was how I came up with the names, the Waterboys. And even to this day, like a lot of customers talk about how much they love the name. They remember it. They don't even really know where they remember it from, but that's the genesis of the Waterboys name. And yeah, so yeah, either way, so that summer of 2007, I go out and I create this flyer with the hot summer special. Will come to your home to provide you cleaning services. So I designed the flyer, printed the flyer, and I had 100 flyers, and I put them out. I went to a nice neighborhood, put out flyers door to door, and that next day I got 6 calls, and I was just like, whoa, 6%. That's pretty good. I was just like, wow, people called, and I don't even know what I was expecting, because I didn't even buy any supplies and equipment. I didn't buy any type of supplies or anything like that, because I don't really know. Maybe I thought, like, let me see if people would even call first before I even see if this even makes sense as a business. But yeah, so from that moment, we went of the 6 calls, 3 of them were actual appointments. And what I was even using at that time, the house vacuum, the little vacuum, the hand pushing vacuum, I would bring that with a bucket, soap, and a hose. And, one of the customers, we cleaned his Corvette, and he said, hey, is there a way you could come out to our office building and clean, some of the employees' vehicles over there? I said, okay, that sounds like a good idea. Yeah, I'll come by. So we set up like a 3-day thing where I come by 3 days and, clean some of the employees' vehicles or the staff's vehicles at this office building. And that 3 days, I made $950. And that kind of got my attention. That's when I started to see something different about what was just a little quick hustle to like, this might be something bigger than just a regular hustle. And that next week came back again, and I almost doubled. You did about $1,500. There was no we actually. It was just me. But I did about $1,500 that week, and I was like, oh, okay, maybe I should. Like, that's when I started thinking, I don't think I'm going to law school. That's when it hit me. I was like, maybe I'm gonna push this law school thing. I know that you could do an abatement, like you could push your law school like for like 1 year based on like or a good reason or something like that. So I was already thinking like that, but yeah, so this was a few weeks into just me putting out some flyers. This is already happening. So then I'm like, all right, I need to hire an employee. And that's when I hired my first employee, by the name of Gilbert. Gilbert was a special guy. I remember when I first hired him, we were working out there in the sun, and he was like, "Hey, Michael, you need to slow down, man, because if you don't drink water and slow down and pace yourself, you could get sick. It's not good for the body, man. You don't want to do that to your body." And I was like, "Nah, we got to work hard. Let's push these cars out." I should have listened to him, because that weekend was my brother's birthday party in Houston. I was going to go out there, and I was working so hard in the sun with Gilbert outside. And while he's pacing himself, I'm working hard. I'm thinking like, I'm so much harder, of a harder worker than him. But, I'm drinking water, I'm not drinking water. I'm working hard, dehydrated, the next morning I wake up with like this huge golf ball sized fever blister on my lip. Man, that got me. That was terrible. Ugh, man. And I had to go to my brother's party with that hot summer special on my lip. You know what I'm saying? That was a real hot summer special. You know what I'm saying? Right there on my lip. Man, that was terrible, but I should have listened. But yeah, that was my first employee, Gilbert. Shout out to Gilbert. And, from that moment, I also learned another thing about business, that we were at that location. So mind you, went from the home, and then we went to started doing an office building, and this was good. I was again making on average about, I'll say about $1,400 a week. And I was just like, wow, this is more than I ever made, And one day the management called me of this office building. They're like, hey, sorry, we're gonna have to cancel your contract. Mind you, I didn't have no contract. I was just there, but we have to cancel it because one of the executives is upset that he had a smudge on, his window. I said, a smudge? Yeah, he had like a fingerprint on his window. I was like, oh, well, do you want us to come over and like clean it? And, we could, maybe provide some free services or something like that. She's like, no, he just wants to go a different direction. And then like that, boom, it were gone. I was just like, what? And that's when I understood it's not personal, it's business. That's the first time. That was a lesson, that, don't have all your eggs in one basket. And that's what we did. We had all our eggs in that one basket. And it taught me to try to look for different opportunities to diversify differently. And that's when I started looking to like, how can I put this, what I'm doing at office buildings, that's coming over there and cleaning cars, to, maybe, put on a bigger level. And that's what led me to malls, and at this time, it's a little past the summer, and I'm trying to pursue Galleria, trying to have meetings with the Galleria Dallas about providing car wash services to, their guests and their patrons. And they didn't really take me seriously, they thought I was too young to even be doing something like that. And they would even say, are you old enough to drink coffee? Are you old? Hey, would you like some water? Because I know you're not old enough to drink coffee. Yeah, you're so funny. But I kept going to meeting after meeting. I used to meet Ravi. There's another woman that it doesn't matter, but in that February of 2008, Ravi called me and he says, "Hey, Michael, we've been thinking about it. We're going to go ahead and move forward. We want to bring you in." I was like, "Whoa, to provide service at the mall?" I was like, "Yeah. We want to start in April." I was like, "Wow." He says, "Can you provide us with your insurance, your collateral?" And I was like, what? And I didn't even know you needed insurance to do business or do what we was doing. I didn't even know you needed insurance, but he was like, "Yeah, can you provide us with your insurance and your collateral?" And collateral, I guess, is all the sales material, like the flyers, the pamphlets, the business cards, the posters, and designs and all that kind of stuff. And he wanted me to send all that, and I said, "Okay, sure, I'll send it to you," but I didn't have that. So basically just created it real quick, called around to see who could insure us at what price, and even with the insurance people, they even know really how to classify our type of business. They are familiar with valet, but they weren't really familiar with, on-site car wash services at a property. So this is pretty new for them. But I ended up getting insurance, and I ended up getting them all the stuff they need, and we started up, and it was okay, because, if you know malls at all, but their parking spots are valuable. So, they don't want you to have the VIP upfront spots. They want you to have the inconvenience that, the whack ass spots in the back. You know what I mean? Like that's where we started. So we're at in a lower deck of the garage providing services. And, it was okay. But, from that moment, more people started to call. Chase Tower, Chase Tower, downtown Dallas. They called and said, "Hey, can you provide services with us?" And everybody who called me, I really ended up saying yes, we can come by, sure, and it's no problem. And mind you, this is where my business started to grow. It started to become something different, and it happened based on just calls and demand. People were just calling and saying, "Hey, can you do it here? Can you do it here?" And I would just say, "Yep." And this is where I started getting in trouble because, every time I would start a new location, I would hire a new employee, but I wouldn't really train them. I would kind of like hire an employee as like a placeholder, to say, "Hey, I'm just gonna hire you. I know I know you like to sag, and I know your English is not, too great, or, you got a bad record. It doesn't, hey, can you just kind of keep this spot, hot until I come back and start another location?" And I'll keep doing that to the point to where I had like 13 locations, high rises, office buildings, mall, Galleria, and like, even North Park. So yeah, so I was at all these different places and have all these different employees I didn't really train. I just kind of had them there to kind of say, I'll come back to train you on how to really properly, do the service. And that wasn't a good idea, because on paper, everyone was like, "Wow, you have so many locations, your employees, you're doing so well." But in real life, I'll wake up in the morning like in living hell. Man, when I say it was the worst experience ever, just because, man, I just run around town all over just putting out fires, because I used to call myself Clark Kent, not because I'm Superman, but because I would go up and have a meeting with, a property in like a suit and all that. And then I'll come back downstairs, and change out and go clean cars, to go help someone else out, or someone didn't show up here, or someone didn't do what they were supposed to do here. And I'll just go running wild, going from one place to the other, trying to really just make the business look a certain way. And, again, everyone's just like, "Wow, you're doing so well." But I mean, it was just wild because even then I wasn't even making money. Like, and let me explain. Let me make this make sense. While I have 13 locations, I'm making money. So at this time, it's not grand, but it's like about like 400,000. And it took me $385,000 to make 400,000. So that means that I only made $15,000 profit. So I was living in poverty, trying to hide my poverty. You know what I mean? I don't know if you understand. That like $15,000. I had part-time employees making more than me. You know, and they would complain like, Michael, you got all the money. You need to help me out. I'm like, you don't know. I'm poor. You see all this, but I'm poor. I'm dirt poor. And, but again, learning lessons. Cause I'm like, man, this is really hard, and that's kind of, where I knew something needed to change because again, now we're at our peak. So this is 6 years in. So this is 2013 and, we're doing business everywhere. More people asking. I'm even having to like tell some people no, and we're at malls and all, doing all that. But then, I knew it needed to be a change. And this was about 3 years ago. So, understand that, what saved my business, subscriptions saved my business. And, the reason why subscriptions saved my business is that, okay, let me break this down. You went from me going to homes, from homes going to office buildings, from office buildings to like malls and high rises and things like that, right? But the way that we would lose money is because when it's slow, or when one location's slow and another location's busy, that money that busy location made, I have to pour that into a slow location because they're just waiting there in the parking lot for a car that may or may not come. There's no guarantee. They were just waiting there, waiting for an opportunity. So basically, there was hardly any like good and bad days. Like there'll be busy days or, like this is how it will be. This is the disaster I was in. When it's beautiful and sunny, we're busy, right? But when it rains, we're super dead slow. Now, since let's say we're busy, let's say it's raining for 3 days. 3 days of rain means that I'm losing at least a quarter of my employees who are working because they're like, it's too slow. I need to make money. And they will quit. So then right after it stops raining, it will get beautiful and sunny. And now I need more employees, So it was always like, I never had enough employees or had too many, there was no perfect amount, and that's why I say subscriptions saved my business just because, we created the membership. This is 3 years ago where, you sign up for the membership and we'll come to your home or office, wherever the car is on a regular basis, whether it be weekly, bi-weekly or monthly, to clean it. And you pay a flat fee every month. Now that was a game changer. And the reason why, is that my employees will wake up now, at least now, to what's already on their calendar. They're already kind of see what is going to happen, and it's guaranteed. Like a customer already knows what they're going to get. This is the first win-win. It was just a great win-win for like all of us. And I just felt like that is something that if you're not doing that now, because that's why I know that's where business is going. If you're not doing that now, you need to make these changes in your business, is to provide something of value on a regular basis and, and have it to where the customer pays monthly for something, because that guaranteed bottom, you could work around that. You don't have to worry if anything does or does not happen. It was by far one of the best changes I made to my business. And it's just such a blessing that, that we made it here, because, there's so many times, and that's why I call it a love story, is because, I would hate the business sometimes, and then I'll love it, and I wouldn't even understand. It's like an emotional roller coaster. I'm like, man, I love this business, like my own children. And then sometimes I just hate my business. I'm like, man, what did I get myself into? And sometimes, man, I didn't even want to say it. I used to say, man, I wish something would knock this business out, and just, so I could just start something different. Like, I would want it to fail, and it's like a cockroach. It just wouldn't die. My business wouldn't die. I don't even know if I should use a cockroach as our symbol, because, man, it just would not die. Nothing could kill it. And which is a good thing, because maybe it's why I chose the right thing. I don't know. But, it was just so extremely hard, for us to, to get from where we started to now. But just understand, that's why I always tell everybody, like, when you start something, don't quit, because you got to keep going. It's going to get better. It always gets better. And people don't really believe that. That's why you have to have faith. It always will get better. And, I'm still learning now. Nothing's perfect. There's still a lot of adjustments, because even with the subscription service, when you have someone who pays monthly for something, you're going to have somebody there to deliver it. So imagine if an employee quits, or, so imagine if an employee quits, you're going to have someone who's just as good as that well-trained employee, who that customer who got something on a regular basis from that employee loved. He's going to want that same level of service every time. So you're going to have someone ready to provide that consistency. And that's kind of like where it went, and, that's where we're at right now. That's the story of the Waterboys, and that's kind of where we started. Again, I'm gonna keep going. I'm not going anywhere. I only plan on growing this year. I have a goal. Our goal is to do 1 million this year. And that requires me to make better decisions. Because I'm even overwhelmed now, when it comes to all the different changes. Like currently, like today, I hired another employee. We're building that team. I'm doing better at that, but man, it's a struggle hiring employees. It's just, it's one of the hardest things. It's one of the things I hate the most in my business, is hiring employees, because it's hard to find good help, and once you find, someone who could help you out, if they're gone for whatever reason, because, people quit now, or, if you sneeze wrong in their presence, people would be like, oh, I'm gone. People quit for anything now. And, you just gotta, when you find the right people for your business, and you build the right team, it takes you to a place where you just never thought you would be. Like, wow, but I'm slowly getting to that, because, mind you, I'm 12 years in on the Waterboys, about to be 13 years coming up this summer. And I'm just now getting my foothold, and I'm just now figuring out exactly how to hire. And I'm looking to, kind of just get into more of a bigger picture role, rather than, because I'm an owner who is too hands-on. I let all my guys, provide their services, let me kind of explain how it works. So when you sign up for a membership and you set your appointment for, let's say, every other Tuesday, every whatever, that's already on someone's calendar. So they wake up and they provide these services on a regular basis. Boom, they have those on their agenda. And every time someone wants just a random on-demand, just, hey, I just want it, not a membership, not monthly, I have to have employees for that too, ready for that too. And that's something that, keeps me on my toes. Let's just say that, because, the on-demand is good because they pay more, for us to just come whenever they want it. And then they get significant savings. if they do monthly. So again, it's a win-win, because if they don't want to commit, that's all good. We still get paid. If they do want to commit, it's all good. We get paid guaranteed, and I just want to say, I'm doing different things now. I'm trying to build on a different level with the Waterboys. We have different locations from like Museum Tower to Park District. We have other potential locations that are happening. And the way I'm doing it now, so you could kind of get a clear picture of where we're going, is that I want to be the person, the business who occupies the parking spots, just like how you see handicap spots at properties. So, we're already there like that now, where we're not just waiting there on site, just waiting for someone to show up. We have our parking spots that say, park here and reserve it. So people will reserve those spaces, park in the spot, drop their keys off in the key drop. One of our mobile guys will show up to that spot, clean their car, whether it's a member or whether it's a on demand. They'll book the spot. Our detailer will get to that spot, clean the car, return the keys, and then they're gone. And we want to have these parking spots, everywhere. I want people to be say, okay, I want people to be like, okay, we're going to go to Whole Foods. Let's get our car clean. Or let's go drop our car off over here at this property. Or let's go drop our car off over here, and just create a high level of convenience, because that's what we're about, is convenience. And we provide convenience through efficiency, because when we started, we were cleaning cars with a hose. Right now, we're so efficient. We bring these 2-gallon tanks, and with these 2-gallon tanks with our car wash solution, we're able to clean 8 to 10 vehicles. So that's approximately about a cup to a quart of water per vehicle. So just by the efficiency alone, of our service, we're eco-friendly. So we just had a lot of advantages, and also we're licensing. So giving other people the ability to start their own car wash with us. You can license everything through us, and have your very own car wash with, we'll do all the training. You just make sure that you do all the smart work, and you make sure you have someone who does all the hard work, and we just work hand in hand. So those changes are coming. You'll hear about those changes and how they're growing my business, because that's what this podcast is that you're going to hear a firsthand account of an entrepreneur, business owner who's going out aggressively trying to grow his brand and provide consistent service. And the only way I'm going to do that is to get good feedback. And if what I'm doing doesn't work, you're going to hear it. If what I'm doing does work, you're going to hear it. So this is a firsthand account of what does and does not work. And, we're starting off this 2020 pretty good. And, we have our goals in line. So I really appreciate you all. Again, everyone who has joined me from episode 1 to this episode number 2, I thank you for all the blessings. I hope you have a great year. And I do really appreciate you for joining us today. And also, let me say this before I get off, is that if you need help with your business, if you have questions about what you need to do, just life-wise, or if you need someone to talk to, or okay, when I was starting business, there was no one I could ask questions to. And it happens when you're doing something new and something different. People just really don't understand. There was no one I could really talk to when it comes to, hey, what do you think about this? And what do you think about, they always give me generic advice or something that's just not, they don't understand the vision. And it's not that I expect them to, but, there was no one I could really talk to about, what we're doing and how I should, make better decisions and all that. But now that I've learned and I've, have a little bit more experience under my belt, I want to be able to help anybody, or my younger self, So, don't have too much pride. Just if you want to talk business or you want to, get some unhelpful advice, but I'm just joking about that. But real actual sage advice about, where to go with your business, how to start, reach out. I had one of my friends is a DJ. He reached out to me and he said, "Hey, Michael, I need your help." And I said, "What's going on?" He says, "Hey, I want to start this business, but man, I just don't know where to start." And I told him, "All right, tell me a little bit about it." And he was talking about something he wants to do that's going to push the DJ community forward. And I was just like, okay, this is a good idea, which again, there's no good or bad idea. They're just ideas. It's really the execution. And I told him, all right, here's the first thing. You already got the idea. The second thing is that you need is how much is it going to take to start this on the lowest measure for me to start this and it to be quality, because that's what they leave out. When the people say, start now, you'll never be prepared, or just put it out. Who cares? First off, if you're going to put anything out, make sure it's quality. That's what people are forgetting. Make sure it's quality. So you want to see what you're going to do is what's the idea? Second is, how much is it going to cost to start this idea on the cheapest it could be, but highest quality for that price. I'm not sure if that makes too much sense, but it's more like if I wanted to be a photographer, I don't have to have a $6,000 camera, but I'm not going to use a $10 camera because it's the photo just won't be that good. Find the cheapest, highest quality X amount or whatever it is for you to start. And then you'll start to change out the equipment and things that you need for it. But, he took that and now he's taking action steps. He knows where to go now because he didn't know the price of any of the equipment. He didn't know the price to start. He didn't know the price of the real estate that he needed. He didn't know all that. But now that he understands, like, I could start here, all the free, that's the free stuff. Doing the research, figuring out where you need to go, how to start, all that. That's that. It doesn't cost you anything but time. Just figure out what the idea is and how much it's going to cost to start, and go for it. And once you start it, don't stop. And I'm telling that to anybody, because when you start something, you think it's not going to work after all these headaches and all this, but you just got to keep going because you're carving out your own path. And when you carve out your own path, you're gonna get somewhere where no one has ever been. And when you lay your flag there, people are gonna start coming after you, but they're gonna know you're there first. I always say that. Get there first. And you can't get there first if you stop. And trust me, the path is hard. It's not easy. And so I just hope that you enjoyed the little overview of what the Waterboys was. I really appreciate you all. And I thank you for joining me. Again, reach out to me if you have any questions or if you want any advice or if you need any help, DM me or hit me on Twitter, at SAYMICHAEL. But it's been a good show. Thank you for joining me on episode 2. I love you and bye-bye. And a last note, I just want to leave you with this. Starting a business is never about the idea itself. It's about the execution of that idea and whether you could get it done. Thank you.